Insta360 camera, first attempt at some night videos. Right off the bat, gotta say, a little concerned, but as I started to walk, it did get a little bit better. Um, Little moments here and there where I think the camera was adjusting, so that might be something for me to kind of realize, maybe start before I want some of the content that I want to catch. I did film this going in without doing any research on night filming with 360. I kind of felt that the majority of people that would be watching a video like this are going to be like me, where they're going to be learning for the very first time. And there is a lot to learn about changing settings, doing this, doing that. And I really just wanted to get the feeling without doing anything, and the average person that maybe not do any changing settings or knowing to change settings would do. And I will say, for the most part, I think it did a really good job. There is a couple of spots where I felt it was definitely not as crisp as it is during the daytime. Like even right here, I don't feel like the focus on me is as crisp as it is during the daytime, but I'm sure the lights are pulling the camera's focus. Since I did film this, I have gone on and did a little bit of research of what settings I should change to make it an improved difference. And I am planning on going out tomorrow, actually, and I'll make those changes in the Insta360 and try it out. I have seen that it's not necessarily the best camera for nighttime viewing, but we're going to work with what we have and see what we can do to improve, because I'm sure it'll look a lot better just with some more knowledge on my part and not blaming the camera for my lack of knowledge to know to change certain things. So we'll definitely do that and see what the comparison is. And honestly, it's just a nice night out to go for a little bit of walk during the Christmas lights. And if you're like me at all, I absolutely love Christmas lights. It's my favorite time of year. Honestly, I'm going to go all the way from basically Halloween, fall, Thanksgiving, right up to Christmas as one giant season of just beautiful sights, sounds, flavors, taste, and I love it. The only thing that can make this a little bit better for me is a little bit of snow on the ground. Besides the little bit you can see there, it just adds a little bit more magic to the Christmas lights when you walk in somewhere like this. That being said, the moment Christmas is over, snow can disappear. So the part I just walked is kind of the intro to the City Hall in Brampton, and I'm going to go across the street to Gage Park, which is a very nice, beautiful area every single season. I haven't actually walked Gage Park ever at this time of season, and I thought it would be a great place to come and try out the camera. I do drive by it whenever I get a chance. Normally at this part of Brampton, I will not drive down, period. But to see this beautiful sight, this is a great tunnel that I'm going through right now. It's just spectacular. So I'll actually drive downtown Brampton, which I never do. I avoid it like the plague, just to see these lights every single year. And I'll take the longer way home just to see this. And immediately after coming through the tunnel, there was a moment where I don't know if the camera was refocusing, readjusting, where there was a moment where the film quality just dipped for 2 seconds. But I will say, the part that I wanted to get the most was obviously the tunnel, and the tunnel looked spectacular. So, super happy with how this camera picked up the tunnel. But there is certain moments I can kind of see a little bit of like almost like a pulse of the lights. And that, I don't know if it's a setting or if it's just lack of experience that I need to work on. But again, I could trim this down and you wouldn't see any of that. But again, this video is a learning experience for me and for the audience that might be interested in a camera like this, so they know the ups and downs, so I'm not hiding everything. It is funny, I didn't notice the little girl and kind of like the learning device they use on the ice for them to push and skate. um, on the ground in person. I saw her jetting around with it. And there's another one coming up. You can see kind of off in the distance flying around. But then I watched back. It's probably this little girl coming up now. She got up and started again. But when she was down inside it. And I didn't notice it at all. But you can see her absolutely flying for someone that's learning how to skate. She's doing a great job. And like, what a better place than a beautiful setting like this where you have the Christmas lights in the background to go for a skate. I might have to actually do that one day. I'm not a great skater, but I'm adequate, so I wouldn't embarrass myself in a spot like this, so I should try it someday. But I was glad that they had this walkway around the outside because I just wanted to get the sights and sounds and the pictures and test out the camera, obviously, which, again, super happy with how it handled. The only negative is occasionally, like I said, you can see the bit of a pulsing on the lights, which I don't know if it's just the camera focusing, what it is. But you can even see the crowd. This camera is so non-invasive. People really don't feel like there's a camera in their face. So you can walk in public. If you're like me, you would not feel comfortable walking around with a selfie stick with a camera facing yourself. But with this camera, it's non-invasive. So you're walking around with a selfie stick, but it just looks like you're walking around with a stick. And nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares. Whereas normally people will start acting different. They'll jump out of the way. But the entire time, there was only one person that kind of jumped a little bit. And I think it's more because she thought it was a stick that I was holding in front of me than the camera. But she might have realized it was a camera. But literally only one person gave a bit of a reaction due to the Insta360 camera that I was holding. And we've pretty much done the entire loop here at Gage Park. We're just coming up to where the tunnel is again. And I could have just walked straight back up to the lights, but why do that? I'm going through that tunnel again because that tunnel is the best part. Like, who doesn't like walking through a tunnel of Christmas lights? Like, if you don't have the Christmas spirit, walking through some beautiful lit up trees just like this and coming up on some lit up moose that are definitely some Canadiana right there. And I got to practice a little bit of the transition, so I got to focus in on that tree and then do a bit of a pivot in the software, which is a nice part of the 360. I would have liked that a little bit smoother, maybe slower, and maybe I should have elongated that pivot so it started earlier, just to smooth it out a little bit. But again, baby steps, learning how to do it, learning how to transition, but the tunnel, we're getting the tunnel again, so I'm looking forward to that. I do love though how you kind of have to squeeze through some people here because nobody's moving for me at all, but whatever. We're coming up on the tunnel and I got so lucky because there was nobody in it right off the bat, so we got another beautiful tunnel view, which I practiced some things with the tunnel and some other video scenes. I was alone in there for the first part of that walk that I was able to kind of just play around, and we're basically at the end. It did occur to me as I got to this nice intersection here as the light turned, and I sometimes start to walk across a little bit earlier, and that guy kind of went through the red light. He was right on the edge. It was barely yellow when he got to the edge of it, and then it turned red. And I like to cross, and I will admit, when I'm filming myself, I should probably behave and wait. So we're back over to the other part. I'm gonna walk through one more time just to, again, practice with the lights and the angle. I was also not only practicing with my angles, but also where I'm holding the selfie stick. So I wanted to come through here with the selfie stick on a different angle just to see what the difference was on the editing software later. I did kind of think that the editing software, which will automatically track you if you choose it to, would do a better job if I kind of moved the selfie stick to my side. It did do that, and since I started doing that, I actually did hear someone on a video say to do that as much as you can, because then the automatic software will do a lot of the work for you, and the more you can change your angles, the more it keeps it interesting, which I knew. But the more you just do it with the selfie stick, when you're walking, it'll create less work for you down the road. So thought that was good, and I wanted to let it play through here just to see how the camera reacted comparatively to the first time, and it was much better. Check out part 2.